Hi Stampers, my name is Sandy Hancock. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator coming to you from Southern California, and today is Monday, July the 21st, 2025. Today I'm going to be showing you cards made with the rest of the DSPs out of the Painterly Pears that I did not use last week. So we're going to be using this background paper. We're going to be using the pear, we're actually cutting out pears, so let me show you what this paper looks like more up close. It's this one right here. Very, very pretty. And then I'm going to be cutting a pear out of this paper. And then I'm going to be making some cards out of this border, which is so beautiful. All right, now I am going to be using, to get the two background pieces, this is Darling Duckling for the yellow. And I'm going to be using the perennial postage, the two biggest ones, to cut these two pieces out. And I'm going to be using mixed labels for the two banners and for the greeting. I'm so glad we're friends. And the background greenery is from Charming Day. It's this one right here. Isn't that pretty? It just gives a really nice background. So that's what we're doing. And I started this video earlier and got this far, and then tragedy struck. So I'm not going to go back and start all over again. So I've already put the DSP together. I put the Darling Duckling on with dimensionals and put the two banners together at an angle. And so I'll explain what happened for the tragedy. So I was stamping this, and I'm showing you how to emboss in any color. And as I was getting ready to, I'll just explain when I get there again what happened. Okay, but anyway, I have to start over, but I'm not starting entirely over. Okay, so let's get once again the outline of the pear. That's going to make for a really quick video. Okay, so now there's our outline. Then we need yellow. I suppose I could have stamped with Darling Duckling, but I didn't think about it, so I think Daffodil Delight will be fine. Okay, then I'm going to clean off my stamp because I want to put some Granny Apple Green on it. Okay, so I'm just going to, okay, I want the darker color to be on the right, just like it is in the picture. So the right side is going to be the left side when I turn it over. So we don't want it too dark. Okay, I can always add to it if I need to. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, actually that looks fine. Okay, so we'll just leave it. Okay, now here's where the tragedy struck. All right, so I'm going to move this around so that it looks, at least looks straight to me. So initially I'm going to stamp this with Early Espresso. And I'm going to stamp it twice just to get it nice and dark. Okay, now, the first time I started making this video, I took my water to clean off the chocolate Early Espresso, and the stamp came off. So you know what I did? On the back of the stamp, I put a little bit of Stampin' Seal. Trust me, it is not going to come off now, because you have to have it in the same place exactly if you're going to add Versamark to it. So let me get my Versamark pad. Oops. Okay, so we're going to put Versamark right over it, and I'm going to ink that a couple of times too, just to make sure. Okay, and then I'm going to take my clear embossing powder and just put it over there like that. Okay, that looks good. Let me grab my embossing tool. It's kind of halfway across the country here. Here we go. You can see it turning as it starts to heat up. And like I said, you can do this with any color. That's the beauty of putting Versamark over the color. Oops. All right, so come on. Woo. Okay, there's that. And I will clean that up later. Okay, so now, you know what? I am going to stop and put the lid on that embossing powder. Okay, so now I just need the die from Painterly Pears. And I'm going to go cut this out. See how beautifully that shines through? It really needs to be a little bit more a star of the show to make this pop. And so that's why we really needed to emboss it. Okay, let me cut it out. Yeah, my friend Carol and I were talking, and when I showed her I wanted to put that greeting in there, she was the one who said, hey, you should emboss that. I went, oh yeah, I completely forgot about that technique. So I don't know if you can see it, how well you can see it, but it really makes a difference. And so on this one too, just like the first one, which you did not get to see me do, I'm gonna put 2 extra pieces on the back just to make it a little more sturdy. And then I'll be ready to put them onto the card. Oh wait, oh, well not quite. Okay, let me put the little stem on it. Okay, there we go. Then I've got these 2 pieces of beautiful greenery from Charming Day. And I want to put those on the back. And for this, I'm going to use, let's see, oops. I'm going to use my reverse tweezers and a little bit of glue, because if you try to use that Stampin' Up! Seal on this, you're just going to tear it up terribly. Tear it up terribly. Okay. And yeah, my friend Michelle Whistler gave me this glue because I've never been much of a glue fan. And she said, oh no, you're gonna love this. And you know what? She was right. Okay, so we're gonna put the first one down, and then we'll go for the second one. These reverse, she told me about the reverse tweezers too. I don't know if I'd even seen anyone use them, but you really do need them to hold something like this in place as you're getting things with getting some adhesive on things. Okay, there we go. Wow. Okay, that was easy. Let me put the pin in my glue. Well, I know I can do this. There we go. All right, so now we're ready to add our pears. Oh my gosh, isn't this so cute? All right, so we're gonna put adhesive, pull this up a little bit, on both of these. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of gently add these. Oh, you know, I think I pulled up my greenery a little bit more on that one. I don't think you can, see, that's why I used to love the Dotto, because you could just pull something right up and do it over. I don't think I can pull that up and do it over, so I won't even try. But I think on this one I did pull it up a little bit higher. Looks a little bit nicer. Let me just test this. The glue shouldn't be dry too. No, it's gonna rip it. Okay. All right, I'll just leave it where it is. Okay, so something like that. And then I am gonna use something that's retired. They're called adhesive backed shiny sequins. And the green, it's kind of a yellow green. They're absolutely perfect for this card. So if you don't have these, then I would say color some rhinestones with your granny apple green, and that would be really nice. Oops, are you gonna let go? There. I'm gonna use the smaller ones. And then I'm gonna put one over here. Nice. Okay, so that completes our front. Now inside, I'm just gonna put a piece of white. And when I initially made this card, I stamped, but then I thought, you know what? See here, I stamped. It's really nice, but I had an extra piece cut out, so guess what? I'm just going to use my cut out piece to finish up this card inside. Okay, nice. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna put some little dimensionals under the leaves so that they don't get caught on something and tear. Let's see. Yeah, these little dimensionals really come in handy. When you need them, you need them. And I need them. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm so glad we're friends. Beautiful. Okay, now let's move on to the border cards. And I am using Wanted to Say dies, the Feel Better Soon, on all of them, because you know what? I don't have very many cards that say Feel Better Soon. And I mean, as we're all getting older, we need Feel Better Soon cards. And so I decided, rather than just trying to be different and put something different in there just so they're not all the same, I'm gonna make 4 cards, and now I'm gonna make 4 more in a way that I can actually use them. So here's how I did it. All right, so this time the Granny Apple Green is 8 1/4 by 4 1/4. Normally it's 8 1/2, but this time, and notice why. See, we've got the front's not totally covering. Okay, so there are 2 different insides, and I'll show you what those are gonna be. Okay, so let's go ahead and score the Granny Apple. And I'm gonna show you there are 2 different cards inside. Okay, I'm gonna score at 4 1/4. So all the cards are gonna be scored at 4 1/4. Okay, there we go. And when I make this type of card out of the borders, I can only get 4 cards because I'm putting some of the border paper inside also. You don't have to do that. You could just put plain white inside, but I just think it's so beautiful, and it's a surprise when somebody opens the card. I'm going to show you the finished card again. Okay, so there's our 4 cards. Okay, so 2 of the cards actually have some of the border in it, but there's not enough border to go around, so I'm going to explain what this piece is and where it came from. So 2 of them have this, and 2 of them have the actual border. Okay, so now let's cut. Okay, so all right, the DSP on the front is going to be 5 1/4 by by 3 3/4. So let's just cut the whole thing at 5 1/4. 5 1/4. Is that good? Okay, so there's one end of our border. Now we're going to turn it around and do the same thing on the other side. 5 1/4. 5 1/4. Okay, so notice that we have this interesting piece left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this piece into 2 5 1/4 pieces. And this is what I'm going to put on the inside for the 2 pieces that don't get to have the border. Okay, so there's our pieces, 2 of the pieces. All right, so now let's cut this. So we're going to cut 3 3/4. This is going to be for the front. There's the front. Now we're going to cut a 4-inch piece. That's for the inside of the card, because the inside of the card is still 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Okay, so now we've got a border piece. So we're going to cut this 3 3/4. Okay, so now let's do the same thing on the other side, and all of a sudden we're going to have enough for 4 cards. So 3 3/4. This is going to be the front of a card. Okay, this is going to be an inside, so I'm going to cut it at 4 inches. And this is going to be the front of a card, so it's going to be 3 3/4 inches. Yeah, that we had a blue border. I was trying to look to see which DSP. It's not current anymore. Okay, so there's a 3 3/4 piece. See, it's going to go like this. And inside is going to go this piece. So that's going to be that card. Then this card, let's turn it the right way. Okay, here's the front. And again, we can put this inside. All right, then on this one, we're going to have a front, but we don't have any piece to go inside. So what I'm going to do is, where is my white cardstock? Okay, oh, here it is. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to take a piece of white cardstock to put in here, and then one of my pieces of that border is going to go like this. So that's going to be that card. And then this is going to go like this. And white and the border. There we go. Okay, so let's put our 4 cards together, and then we're going to add the Feel Better Soon, and we're going to have 4 gorgeous cards. So this is literally just a matter of putting it together, but I think you saw how I cut it, and you could change yours up. They don't all have to say Feel Better Soon, but like I say, maybe it's my age, the group of people I hang out with, but everybody's getting a little bit older. But you know, even at any age, sometimes you don't want to say get well soon. Sometimes you just want to say feel better. Hope you feel better soon. So that's basically what I'm doing here. Isn't that a nice surprise? So from the front, and then there's still beauty on the end. I absolutely love that. Let me just go ahead and finish this one. Okay, so these are the Wanted to Say dies. And so once again, I'm going to take my reverse tweezers, and I'm just going to add enough glue so that this will stick. Takes just a wee bit of patience. And this tip on here, my friend Michelle was telling me, is tinier than the one I was using, and she's right. It is easier to get the glue out in the right proportion. Now let's see how this is going to work. Okay, so I'm just going to put this right over the layer of the Feel Better Soon. See if I can get it in the right place. Almost. There we go. Okay, there we go. Nice. Okay, so now we'll just flip it over. This one is much easier. Okay, and then we can just put this right here. Wouldn't you love to get this card if you weren't feeling good? Okay, let's give this a second to stick. And then what I'm going to do for highlights, I'm just going to get my rhinestones, and I'm just going to decide which flowers. These are looking a little bit different. Let's see, this one could take one. Be pretty. And I'm going to put a little one here. And I'm going to put a little one there. Okay, just something a little bit cute. There you go. All right, now let me show you the one that's going to be just a little bit different. Okay, this one. All right, so once again, we'll just put our paper on the front, and this piece is only 3 3/4 inches wide. Okay, now on the inside, I'm just going to put your regular 4 inches. By 5 1/4. And then I'm just going to put this down the side. And it'll just be a nice little side panel so that when you open it up, you do have a little bit of color. Isn't that nice? Okay, then let's put a Feel Better Soon on it. Now, I'm not doing this to will any of my friends to be sick, just so you know. However, it feels so good to be prepared, because sometimes I just don't send out a card when somebody's not feeling well because I don't have a Feel Better Soon card. And so I just thought, you know what, instead of trying to do something different on each card for the video when I don't really want those kinds of cards, I'm just going to do what I want. And what I want is to have Feel Better cards. Okay. This just takes a tiny bit of patience, right? And like I say, these greetings are out of the Wanted to Say dies that are retired, but I think a lot of you probably have them. And you probably have words that are retired even before the Wanted to Say dies came out. We've had some really pretty greetings in the past that are cut out. Okay, let's see if I can get this still. Okay, I can move this around a little bit. Okay, let me just hold this down for a second. Yeah, I just think that something, you know, it's hard to find words that fit on here size-wise. That's why I really love these cut-out words. They just work so well. And let me just, now this one, thank heavens, again, is much easier. Okay, and we're just gonna, now we'll go to the right of the card. And that will work really well. We'll just hold it down for a minute. And then I'm gonna get my rhinestones out again because we need a little bit of glitz, right? And let's see, I'm gonna put there. You just get to decide each time where you wanna put the rhinestones. And I think I'm gonna put this one. That's gonna be my third one. And you could even put more than that if you want to. So I'm not gonna take the time to make the other two cards. They're gonna be exactly like these. So just again, look how fun. Oh my gosh, open up. So you could make more cards if you made that the front, but you know, how many cards do you need? So for me, I'm happy with just having 4 cards out of 1 sheet. Okay, so that, and then our Painterly Pears, DSP. Okay, so there you have it. And I love this paper. I love the bundle, and I hope you've enjoyed all the ideas. So thank you so much for joining me. If you don't have a demonstrator, please reach out to me at sandystamper@earthlink.net. No A in the stamper. And I'm happy to send you a catalog. And thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, please subscribe and like. And I'll look forward to having you the next time. Alrighty, bye-bye.